So hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Amesie's Corner. How are you all doing out there? So I have a blast from the past. We're looking at a 1979 AMC Spirit. And it looks like it's in pretty decent shape. Not too bad, not too bad. It's definitely been a respray. Can't really get into it. I'm kind of in a rush to show this. We got a little bit of rocker repair to do down here. The inner rocker's got some pretty bad rot on it. I apologize for any wind noise. We still got a blowing, spring here. Feels like autumn. So yeah, we'll get this thing in the lift. We'll take a look at how bad the rust is. It's got some patches here and there in the other side. This side's been patched up. We've also got a few rust issues we'll take a look at. So we're not doing a full resto on this car. We're just doing kind of a patch up so it's safe to drive and gets a sticker and kind of neutralizes what's rusting on the spot over here. So yeah, why don't we get this thing up on the lift? Let's take a look under it. We'll take a look at what makes this thing tick, and we'll get this one out of the cabbage for a few more years. Awesome, guys. This is going to be a fun one. Well, okay, guys, we got this thing up on the lift. Let's take a quick look around it before we get at what we're doing today. Your average AMC suspension. You got the weird double control arm and upper A arm with the spring on it, and then you got the lower arm with the trailing rod going back. Pretty common of the era of these cars. You got your idler and pitman arm front end on it. Pretty typical too. Torque flight transmission. Is it? Oh yeah, it looks like a torque flight to me. 3-speed. You got big pancake cats. Remember those? Remember when every car on the road had those? You got your rear end. I'm not exactly sure what rear end they would have put in this. I guess someone out there probably knows what that is. And the drum brakes in the back. We got a couple of spring issues we got to take care of later down the line. Got to get these little wrappers back on there. But today's issue is right here. Kind of what looks like might be minor, but I'm hoping it's not going to be a big thing. Looks like there's a previous patch all up in this area up in here. I can see where the patch actually stops. Oh, it's hard to point. Right about there. I think I'm pointing at it. So hopefully I can just butt up to that and make a piece that goes in there and weld it up. I'm going to have to take the carpet inside up so that doesn't catch on fire. But yeah, let me get this thing ripped apart and see just how bad this rust is. As is usually with rust up here in New England, it's just like an iceberg. If you see the tip of it above the water, there's a whole lot more down below. So let's rip this thing apart. Okay guys, we get this thing cleaned up about as much as I'm going to get it, and it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was. This previous repair is going to take care of me in the front, and it really isn't as bad. Usually they're a lot worse. I mean, it's a lot bigger than it looked when we first looked at it, but all in all, I expected it to go all the way up into the cavities up here along this seat stiffening rail. That's where the seats kind of tracks mount to right up in there, so that needs to be pretty strong. And what I do next, and I've already done it off camera because it's kind of boring seeing me cut cardboard, is you basically just make a rough template of the piece of metal you want to make, and that's pretty much where we're going to go. It was a lot stronger up in these areas here and over here, so I'm going to be able just to weld that right in there. We're going to weld it right to the other patch up the front, and yeah, just a piece of simple cardboard. This is the same way we did all the rust repairs on the Sonnet, and it worked great for that car, and it'll work great for this one. I want to talk a second about how you guys saw me clean this metal. We used the descaler, and then I used the wire wheel, and then we use this chemical. I get a lot of questions about what I use to stop rust, and that is this product here from SEM. That's the part number 69504 rather, and this is a rust conversion spray. You may have noticed on the time lapse there were spots that I didn't quite touch with the wire wheel that were just plain rusty, and sprayed that acid, and almost instantly we saw that change to this coating. It makes like a, what is it, ferrous oxide? No, ferrous phosphate. Sorry, ferrous phosphate or something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, that treats the metal, that kind of stops the rust. This being kind of a temporary repair, this car in all rights should have this whole rocker panel replaced. It's actually kind of a little rough on the inside. I got to be careful how I handle it. But the car also has some other issues going on, you know, so it's not a spring chicken anymore. This is a car that's used as a daily driver for the elderly couple that own it. They bought it brand new, you know, and this is just a couple $100 patch just to get them down the road, so this doesn't get much worse real quick. We're going to treat it and seal it and undercoat the whole area next. So yeah, I wanted to give you guys a little heads up on the acid here. This is basically phosphoric acid, but a very strong version of it. And I get this right from my local supplier. As far as where you guys can get it, that's going to depend on what's around you, what kind of parts stores. Most automotive paint suppliers, and probably any kind of paint supplier, should be able to get it. But now you got the part number, and that's the stuff I use. I just put it in a better spray bottle. It's basically just what it looks like out of it, and it makes the rust go away for you as long as you treat it. The rust will come back if you don't cover it. If you just left this like this, in a couple of weeks this would start to rust up and be just as bad. So I got this piece welded in about as good as I can get it. The trouble is we didn't take the interior out of the car, so I couldn't get like a full bead up top, but that's all right. We got some products that are going to seal that up. It's a lot stronger. It's good enough. If this was a full frame off restoration, then you would actually weld the whole thing up, but this if we look at the car, they are actually, like this patch here, they actually use fiberglass mat to seal the holes. They did exactly, probably only did the tacks like I did. I actually kind of welded as much as I could. The trouble being the metal you're welding to is different thicknesses, so it's hard to get a bead. Whereas if we look over here, you can see people use actually fiberglass mat to do this side. So the repair I'm doing is commensurate with what I see on the car, and you know, without charging an arm and a leg for getting them back going again. You know, it's the kind of thing we do. So some products I'm going to be using now is we're going to do just a quick spray primer with some Sem primer. It's the same company that makes the acid. I like this. This is my favorite kind of spray bomb primer. Then we're going to close off all the gaps and holes with brushable seam sealer. 08656 3M product. This is like a jelly, almost goes in like a caulking. I'm going to actually use a gloved hand to put that on. You can brush it in. This is actually what they use on like new cars. And then I'm going to undercoat with 3M undercoating. This is my favorite undercoating product right here. If you can find this stuff seems to hold really well. So let me set the camera back up and we'll get this thing sealed up, painted up, and out the door. Awesome. Alright guys, and that is about all of that, and that is how I like to do a quick, efficient, effective patch on one of these old classics. Just enough to get the job done. Still looks good, definitely better than the patches were done around it, and that's about what I was going for. Alright guys, that's another job out the door. I got more stuff to do. I don't have time to go for a good road test. I would like to have done a proper review of this car, but we just got too much on the schedule. It was hard enough just filming enough to show this episode. But anyways, thumbs up are much appreciated. Questions down below. I'll try to answer any of the questions of this about this specific job. Chemicals used, procedures, different ways of doing it. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. On that note, and until next time, keep it out of the cabbage. See you later, Rally Wagon. I'll miss you. I'll remember you forever, bud.